It's the Benz Brunani womanist. Baby boys, baby girls, you need to hear this. If you sit down, receive this realness. Make sure your cup's ready for the tea, we are go sip it, yo. Hard time scrolling for your long shorts. You might learn something you never know. Collect you fine, and she's one of a kind. Don't say you're mine, say you're mine.
Do you mind if I take this straw right here, cause you're flinging alone? Let me think of that. Do you mind if I take this straw right here, cause you're flinging alone? Cause when they're fuckeries is very tiring, yeah. If you got a system, that's fine, just fling ahead of me. Cause we know they say nigger when they're at home, so they need clotting in their throats. Are you down to fling some straws with me? Cause we are just really tired of their fuckery. I'm willing to... Yeah, let's stop there. But for those who know, you know, that's Donnell Jones, This Love. Are you down to swing it up with me? I never know the words. Or could you be blinded by all this ice you see? I'm willing to give you all this love I got. Hey, no relationship involved. Just keep it strictly physical. All this love waiting just for you. Do-do-do-do. Don't pass it up, cause you'll regret it, boo. Whoa, that was a tune. If you don't know that song and you're my age mate, sorry for your life. If you don't know that song and you're younger than I am, don't worry. I know that you, Generation Z, whatever you are, people, you don't know songs until somebody samples them and you're like, oh my God, this is so sick. And we're like, actually, it's from a while back. You're like, oh my God, you're so old. But yeah, like, big up that tune. I do definitely need to do an album at some point because I've just got all of these tunes and I find it hilarious to remix them. So we'll see how it goes. But anyway, it is me, Kelechi, in the place to be. Welcome to another episode of SYM, officially known as Say Your Mind, unofficially known as What? That is right, suck your mum. And, you know, I didn't think I'd be back here so quickly. Wow, you got an episode last week, you get an episode this week, but it's because, wow, the fuckery was so abundant that I couldn't not come in and record an episode. I literally had to just like do it because I just thought, this is just mad. And the, you know, when the madness won't hold for 2 weeks, like you can't keep it in a fridge or a cooler for 2 weeks. You've got to come do it. And then we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens next week. And it is a trek getting here with this tenant in my womb. But, you know, I do it for the culture. I do it for the people them. So, you know, I'll keep doing it for as long as I can. And then I'll be back after the tenant has been evicted. Yeah. And it's really cute. Thank you to the person who on my Amazon wish list bought me the little earphones or headphones that I wanted for the baby because I want to be able to put it on the baby so I can swear when I bring the baby to the studio. Yeah, thought it would be cool. But we'll get there. Let's, you know, God bless and keep us all until then. Anyway, I've been doing bits, I've been doing bobs as per. People have been hollering at me about all of the fuckery that's been happening, you know, like news publications and things like that. And I've just not responded to anything because I don't want to talk and I don't care. You just want someone to come on air to come and argue about things and debate my humanity. And I'm just not with it. So I'm glad other people are being passed on those opportunities after I've like ignored the text messages and the calls because I'm not doing it. The last thing I did was writing that piece about Stormzy at Glastonbury. We're going to actually talk about Glastonbury in a little bit. And I find that really funny. I wrote my article. I said, Stormzy's the leader that this country needs. Obviously, you know, I was just zhuzhing it up, adding a little spice, whatever. Then certain authors who like to write books called Yellow Teeth or White Teeth or whatever, and write horrendous forewords in Their Eyes Were Watching God by Zora Neale Hurston, decided that they were going to write something for the New Yorker and go one step further and go King, Stormzy and rare. But see, now you've taken it too far. Now you've done too much. And sometimes just give credit where credit is due. I don't know why some of you really, really struggle with that. You know I'm a bad bitch. You know I'm out here in these streets. Like, who else can do a Ras Clark solo podcast, right? And make it bang, sir. Okay then. But don't want to give credit where credit is due. My writing, my tweeting, my this, my that. Don't want to give credit, but you'll be now using my materials in sly ways. You'll be getting inspiration from me, but you don't want to admit where the inspiration's from. When will you fucking marry? And if you're married, when will you marry properly? Because you're just moving really, really mad. Give people their credit. I promise you, you will not die from giving people the credit that they deserve. But that's for another day. Actually, thinking about credit and what people deserve, my TEDx talk, I'm still vexed, like the video's still not out after all of these months. But I think that the organizer said that they were having some problems with TED themselves and the formatting of the videos and all these rules and regulations. But it better come out because otherwise I will fight somebody. But that's by the by. Anyway, let's get into the tarot because there is so much to actually cover this week. And I want to make sure that everything gets the love that it deserves. So, tarot this week then. The first card that flew out, well, it flew out together. Two cards flew out together. The Judgment card flew out, where you see like a trumpet being blown. And then the Eight of Cups flew out as well. And they came out together because I guess sometimes some of you need someone to shout in your ears or to scream at you. I'm not going to be the one, I'm not going to scream at you. If you want to move mad, you are well within your rights to move mad. I'm not your mum. I'm not your sister. Well, if my brother listens to it, so I am your sister. But, I'm not your mum. I'm not your sister. Like, I'm not your grandma. I'm not your auntie. Like, do what you want to do in it. But the reason that the Judgment card flew out is because some of you are really, really procrastinating on a decision about leaving something that you know you need to leave. Like, it's literally for your own good. Get the fuck out. Get the fuck out. I don't know whether it's relationships. Well, it feels like relationships when you see cups, but it could just be talking about the emotional realm, really. But the Judgment card always comes out because it's the time. Like, it's literally, God being like, hey, I'm sounding the trumpets. I'm trying to wake you up from this slumber, from this almost like spiritual death that you've encountered where you've shut everything down and you've gone into this zone of disconnect. I'm trying to wake you up and say the only way that you're going to feel more vibrant, that you're going to feel like the person you deserve to feel like and to shine like the spiritual being, the divine being that you are, is to get the fuck out of this situation. And don't be talking about, I'm waiting to get my money together, or I'm waiting for this, I'm waiting for that. There's never a right time. There is never a right time to do the right thing. Every time is the right time. Do you get what I mean? Like, there's never a wrong time even. Let's put it that way. There's never a wrong time to do the right thing, because at the moment you're sitting there going, when this happens, then I'll do it. When this happens, then I'll do it. No, do it the fuck now. Do it the fuck now. And the thing is, there's a community. If it's money that's worrying you, like, for instance, if I leave this job, what's going to happen money-wise? The third card that came out of the deck is literally Three of Coins, which is saying that there's a community. There are opportunities waiting for you for collaboration, for things like that will provide you with the financial support that you need. And if it's a relationship that you're like, don't really know, again, you will be fine. Financially, you will be fine, and you will have the support of a community, whether it's your family or friends. You will have people there to support you, whether it's a therapist, fucking hell. Like, you will have people there to support you, and it will allow you to strategize in a way that it's more beneficial to you. But at the moment, staying where you are because you refuse to see any other way out of this, it's just ashy, to be honest. It's really, really ashy, and it's really, really cowardly. And I know you probably don't want to hear those words because you're just like, I'm not a coward. I'm just and then you'll start crying. But you are behaving like a coward right now because you know what needs to be done and you're making excuses for why you haven't done it. Some of you will make excuses that, oh, but my religion doesn't allow for... No disrespect, but fuck your religion, innit? Fuck your religion. Like, really, no disrespect. Like, not even trying to be bad mind, but fuck your religion. Like, your religion can't be the reason that you're going to be unhappy all of your life. Nobody really knows what's going to happen after this in terms of where we go from here. I mean, we all have our belief systems and what we hope will happen, but nobody really knows. So you've got this one life that you definitely know of, right? You know, you've got this one life that you're living right now that you definitely know of. So why don't you make the most of it right now? Rather than using religion to grind your own head into the ground. Like, do what is best for you. You will be fine. Even if it's a case of, oh, but children, your children will be fine. Your children will thank you. Your children eventually will thank you for making the decision to follow the call of your own heart, because that will set them an example that they can follow in the future. Like, my parent did it, so I'm cool. Like, they did what they needed to do, so I know that I'll be fine, rather than you being there miserable and thinking that you're the dutiful parent or you're the dutiful partner. And I know that this isn't even the first time that this has come up, but it's obviously like some of you aren't listening, and like you'll listen and I guess you'll be like, I'll get to it next week. None of us are promised next week. I mean, I pray for us all that we have long lives and we're prosperous and all of that, but only this moment that you're currently in right now is the only one that you can guarantee for sure is happening. The past has happened. Don't know what the fuck happened there. The future is yet to show itself. So right now is all that you have. So fix the fuck up. And maybe what will help some of you, because this Marcella Kroll deck, I told you that basically it's been misnumbered. Like, it's all like a mess how it's been numbered, really. So this is number 50, spiritual cleansing. But when I look at number 50 in the book, it says psychic. She just named it something different. But anyway, it says here, it is spiritual cleansing is just beautiful. It's just a very nice symbol. I think it's the Hamsa. Yeah, it's the Hamsa. The Hamsa is a palm-shaped amulet popular through the Middle East and North Africa. The word Hamsa, also spelled Kamsa, and Hamish means 5, referring to the fingers of the hand. In Jewish culture, the Hamsa is called the hand of Miriam. In some Muslim cultures, the hand of Fatima. So I think it's interesting that came up after I said to you about religion as well. So, be aware. And it says here, it is time for a spiritual cleansing of the body, mind, or spaces in which you reside. There is an imbalance, stuck energies or heaviness in your environment that needs to be released before proceeding further. And that's it. Some of you aren't willing to make the changes that need to be made because your entire environment, your entire spiritual body is dirty. Like, we've laughed at people who don't want to wash their legs and their feet, but most of us don't think about spiritually cleansing daily before we go and do our day-to-day activities. And then we're surprised when all this muck and gunk and we just is on us spiritually and energetically, and we feel so low. It's because we're not doing that spiritual cleansing. And there are a number of spiritual cleanses that you can do. It doesn't have to even be fancy. Sometimes just run yourself a bath, burn some Palo Santo, and put some Florida water if you have it in a few little drops in the water. Add some lime, cut up some lime, add it in the water, and some Himalayan pink salt. And just lie there before you get in. Pray over the water, get in there and cleanse the fuck out of yourself, mate, because that's what you need. Just that spiritual recharging, that spiritual recalibration. So then maybe that will help you clear the fogginess and see where you need to go next, because is super, super necessary. And then from the Say Your Mind affirmation card deck, I've pulled my genitalia is moisturized and I behave as such. But obviously some of you aren't behaving like your genitalia is moisturized and lubricated. It says here, ashy people do ashy things. When your body is soft and supple, you move through the world with ease and see the world gleaming with greatness like your body. And that's, again, we come back to cleansing and moisturizing. Like, cleanse yourself. when your body is clean, you just seem to glide through life. Everything just seems to just feel so effortless. That's what you need to be doing right now. Like, stop running from the message that you're being given. I don't know where you think that you're running to, but stop running from the message. Run to the message and then find your way out and find the exit sign and be gone. In fact, I feel like the exit sign is just blaring. It's blaring in your eyes and you're just refusing to see it. So whether it's a job, relationship, friendship, any of that, or any sort of contractual things that you think is going to work in your favor, and instinctively it's feeling like it's not, back the fuck up now and go and do what you need to do. So that's basically the tarot for this week. Again, thank you to everybody who's always sending me feedback about the tarot. Like, even if I don't read out your stuff on the show, I truly appreciate it. I sit down and I really take it in, and I'm glad that it's making such a difference because it matters to me. Yeah. So let's move on then to share your magnificence. Before I move on to share your magnificence, I just want to say that somebody wrote a letter or a tweet or something, and they said to me, I love that even the sections of your podcast, they still go with SYM. And I just want to say thank you so much for clocking that. I'm sure loads and loads of people have clocked, but thank you so much for clocking that. Again, it's just the attention that I put into the things that I do. I wanted everything to have an SYM theme. Share your magnificence, so you mad, suck your mum, aka straw of the week. It matters. I just feel like you can't just jump on the mic and hope for the best. Have a structure. If you have a structure, everything just works so much more like easily in that way. But that's just me, you know. That's just me, a little baby girl in her corner of the internet, of the podcasting world, doing what she's doing. But thank you so much for recognizing a baby girl when you see her. Bop, bop. Anyway, let's move on to the slaps on the chest then. My first magnificence goes out to Coco Gauff, I think her name is pronounced. This little 15-year-old girl, or 15-year-old young woman, is an amazing tennis player and actually beat Serena Williams earlier on this month. Yeah, so let's say like last week. She beat Venus Williams. And what I thought was so lovely about it was that, obviously, you know, these newscasters and their fucking idiotic selves, when she won, they were like, yeah, so you must be so proud because you did this and you did that. And she just kept going back to the fact that, I watched Venus and Serena growing up and they are literally my inspiration. And I just, Coco, you're a true baby girl, because true baby girls always pay homage. They always give the credit where the credit is due. She knew that if it hadn't been for them, she would have had nobody to look up to in these streets. And because she saw them achieving such wonderful things, it gave her like the permission to go forth and prosper as well. And what I love the most about it is just the fact that I'm sure the white people really thought to themselves, you know what, thank fuck. That's it. Once Serena and Venus are gone, that'll be it. And then Maria Sharap over there might have a chance, even though by then she really should have retired. But, these white girls will have a chance because Serena and Venus will be gone. And God said, not today, bitch. I'm sending you another one. I'm sending you another excellent one. And to the best of my knowledge, from what you all have been saying on the internet, Coco is not even the only one. We're literally having an army of superb black female tennis players coming up in the game. Why? Because we deserve the things. Long may our reign continue over tennis. Yes, bitch. So big up yourself, Coco. 2 slaps on your chest for being excellent at what you do, and also paying homage and paying respects to the people who have come before you, the black women who have come before you and set pace. I really appreciate that, and I just think it's wonderful to see, to just see out there. Then my next magnificence goes out to Halle Bailey, who's part of Chloe and Halle. They're singers who were, I think, discovered by Beyonce. Anyway, their voices are fucking sickening. They're also in Grown-ish. Got to say, I don't enjoy them that much in Grown-ish, just because I don't enjoy Grown-ish. Maybe someone will say, but Kelechi, you're an Agbaya. Grown-ish isn't for you. You can watch Blackish, because basically Grown-ish is the spin-off of Blackish. If you don't watch it, all of that information is useless to you. Anyway, Chloe and Halle on Grown-ish. It's not for me. Anyway, Halle, though, has now been cast as Ariel in The Little Mermaid, the Disney live action version that will be coming out of The Little Mermaid. And the white people are mad as fuck. They are so angry. Redhead representation matters. Not my Ariel, not my Little Mermaid. Bitch, it doesn't have to be your Little Mermaid. If you don't like it, go and sit the fuck down. If you don't like it, go and season your food. Go and do something. Go and do something that you haven't done before. Like, I don't know, wash your legs, wash your feet. Go and do something that you haven't done before, but just mind your fucking business, because we are all so happy that Halle has been cast in this role. Do you, man, not even remember Cinderella? Brandy Norwood was Cinderella in all them years back when I was younger. So I don't see why it's such a problem. And why it gets to me is that white people were really sitting on the internet trying to talk about, well, she can't actually be black because don't you need melanin? Don't you need sun for your melanin to kick in and da 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 and da 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 da? And it's just like, so now you want to use eugenics to justify your nonsense and to try and use some flawed science to justify what you're talking about. She probably wouldn't have had red hair either under the sea if we're really being buck. She wouldn't. You're not making sense. You're not making sense, and you're just angry because we are getting things and the playing field is being leveled out. Now, don't get me wrong. I have a huge problem with some of the things that Disney perpetuates. Like, obviously, the stories aren't unique to Disney. Disney took like these stories by, I've forgotten the name of Hans, whoever. But they've taken these very dark, very scary, horrible, really, stories that were folk tales or fairy tales, whatever the fuck you want to call them. But I just find them really, really disturbing anyway. And then Disney took them and like lightened them up a bit and put them out there as cartoons. Most of the Disney princesses, I don't really fuck with them because I just think like, what, all of that over a man? You're killing yourself like in that way over a man, or it's a man that has to come and save you. No wonder the society is the way that it is, where girls are just waiting, women are just waiting for a knight in shining armor, some Prince Charming to come and save them, when all you've got, knight in shining armor, imagine a knight in shining armor when he's just there, he's just gone and covered himself in foil, one useless guy riding a donkey. Nobody has time, please. But when it comes to Little Mermaid specifically, fam, you gave up your voice to go on land, to go and be with a man. Of all people, a man. Huh. Could never be me. Could never. Yeah, it just seems like a lot to do. So anyway, I wrote a tweet and I said, whatever colour Ariel is, I just want her to know that no man is worth giving up your magical powers for. Obviously, the people had to arrive. Well, nobody's worth giving up your magical powers for. Well, it's her voice that she gave up. Well, don't men have magical powers too? If you don't all fuck off and stop talking, like you just talk too much, like stop. If you notice, I actually don't respond to, most times I don't look at my mentions. When I tweet something, I've tweeted what I've tweeted and I don't care for any response. I'm not somebody that cares for responses. So yeah, whatever. But then with the odd few that I catch, I just think, shut the fuck up. Just shut up. Just stop talking and go away. But yeah, I just think it's mad that she went through all of that wahala, gave her voice to Ursula, and for what? So the story itself, but the fact that Halle gets to play Ariel, I'm all for that because her voice is amazing. Her voice is phenomenal. So she deserves the things. If you're worried about the fact that you want her to have red hair, I'm sure they can dye her locks red and then everything will be fine, right? Because it was the red hair that you were worried about. And all of this, oh, well, representation and now she was white originally and did it. Do you know that most of the people that you see as white now weren't white initially? When I break it down to you, yeah, the first written record of mermaids would actually have been found near Egypt or, near old Egypt, because you know there's Egypt that's connected to Africa, that is part of Africa, even though they don't like to admit it to themselves. And then there's a part just slightly off. And that's where the first writing of a mermaid, historically, that's where it can be pinpointed to. But if I now say to you, well, let's consider the fact that in Africa, as a continent, the oral tradition meant that we passed on stories by mouth. So yes, it was written, but look, even when it's written, look how close it is to Africa, as opposed to close to your ends, yeah? As opposed to close to your borough, your stinky, cold, foggy borough, right? So we can assume that actually, if we really, really deep the ting, the first stories of mermaids started in Africa, so therefore mermaids are black. Bitch. So yeah, I just think it's really, really interesting that everyone's gotten themselves into such a tiz when we can look for centuries, stories about mermaids or mami wata have existed in West Africa generally, but West Africa I know for sure for centuries. Like we've talked about it for centuries before you man ever showed up. So you're having your experience of mermaids, we're having our experience of mermaids, but I would like to think that it was our experience of mermaids that informed yours, because if we're saying the first written record of mermaids was in that Egypt area, right, then that would lend itself to the fact that actually we were talking about it and then these people just happened to write it down, so therefore it's ours. So therefore Hallie can be a black Ariel and you can just shut your fucking mouths, okay? Thank you so much. Anyway, big up Hallie Bailey for booking this job. I know that you'll be sickening. I know that you'll do it justice. Do what you're doing. I just hope for more stories that actually empower women, that don't tell girls to give up their voices and whatever the fuck else. Like, that's what I hope for. Anyway, Hallie, 2 slaps on your chest, baby girl, for just wonderful things. And obviously, I'd just like to point out reparations, #reparations, yeah? Let's say, for instance, that Ariel and all mermaids are white and we've just gone and made them black. You know who you made white that isn't white? Jesus. So bitch, if you can have Jesus white, we can have every other thing fucking black, okay? Until Jesus returns to his original hue, then we can do whatever the fuck we do, okay? Thanks so much. Because I don't know why why you man are praising a blonde white Jesus when just historically it just makes no damn sense. But okay, so if you're going to whitewash Jesus, you're going to whitewash the Prince of Egypt, you're going to whitewash Cleopatra, you're going to whitewash all of these things, then, you know, we can just start adding a bit of colour to everything else then and just even out the playing field. But actually, we're not even adding colour to things that didn't have colour to begin with. Like, it's just ridiculous. Get out of your feelings. Get out of your feelings and go and brush your teeth regularly. That's what we're asking you to do. Anyway, moving on, I've got a letter from Portia. Can you see, like, Portia is like the most diligent of the writers to this podcast. I appreciate you. Truly appreciate you, Portia. You're a baby girl. She says here, "Hi, Kelechi. Thank you for another great episode that calls out white nonsense. I wasn't aware of the issues surrounding the women's national football team and no longer feel bad about them losing their match the other day. Nor do I. I'm very glad that they lost. Maha. For Share Your Magnificence this week, I'd like to nominate 2 people. The first is Trina Nicole. Big up Tree! As the co-founder of Culture UK. I remember stumbling across her page when I first got Instagram years ago. I'm so proud of her success, especially with her recent national ad for 2 clothing. Same. Trina is an amazing woman. She's doing bits. Jay and Tree, just amazing girls. Amazing. So big up. Yeah, they deserve to be bigged up. And I love that Trina is just serving us body on that 2 commercial, that 2 clothing commercial. I love it. Anyway, back to the letter. It says here, the second nomination goes out to Teneriel. We met in uni and it's inspiring to see how much she's done and how she's come into her own since. As I'm sure you've heard, she recently got scrutinized for her dress at the BET Awards when people criticized her for not wearing a push-up bra. She responded with a statement on how she does not dress for public approval. I'm convinced the spirit of you entered her when she said, focus on better things. She also said, so many women are still stuck in the days of self-hate. people pleasing and projecting how you feel about you in an attempt to make somebody feel the same. There are women out there still allowing the male gaze to determine their worth and what they can and can't do. You owe it to yourself to at least try to embrace the parts of you don't like because somebody else said you shouldn't. Your body, no matter what it looks like, is doing all it can every day to keep you alive and thriving. That to me deserves all the fucking love and care I can give. Wow. Teneriel, like, that's it really. That's wonderful. Big up Trina and Teneriel. 2 slaps on your chest. I don't know why any of like people can't mind their fucking business. If she wants her breasts to be there and in that dress the way that she has it, that's her choice. She looks beautiful. She looks glorious. Leave her alone. And I think that we don't realize how much of this kind of societal conditioning about our bodies, how much it deeply, deeply affects us. And I know that there's the body positivity movement, and I don't think that should be co-opted or taken away from plus size women. I hate that fucking term, but whatever. From plus size women, I don't think that should be taken away. But I think that in bodies that people deem as average, there's still so much self-loathing there as well. And I'm not someone that like talks about myself, as it were. It sounds really weird saying that on a podcast where I'm the sole host, but I don't talk about my personal life much. I don't like to share that because I don't think it's anybody's business, to be honest. But sometimes, I'll share some bits. But one of the things I've struggled greatly with during this pregnancy is the idea or the reality that my body has changed and coming to grips with that and being okay with that. And, my therapist, big up Emma, pulling me up on things that I'd say like, yeah, my body isn't, doing what it would usually do right now, and my body isn't what it would usually be. And she was like, but your body is creating an entirely new human, an entirely new fucking human. Do you not understand? Like, your body's working the hardest it has ever worked in your entire existence right now. It's keeping you alive and it's keeping a new being alive. Like, that is a lot of work. So let your body do what your body does and stop obsessing over it. And, she's had to say that to me lots of times because I feel like there's so much mystery around pregnancy, and there are so many lies around pregnancy, yeah, that women tell each other, and then men force us to believe because of the myth of mother and how mothers and women, well, people who have children, but let's talk about mothers, are lauded in society as like these beings that can't be questioned and they're so divine and this. And as much as I agree with the divinity aspects and things like that, they're still human. Do you get what I mean? And yeah, it's just, I struggle to find this time. I know that in terms of evolutionary, from an evolutionary perspective, the aspects of not feeling desirable to myself and not feeling attractive to myself is part and parcel of the whole thing, and I get that scientifically, I guess, but societally, it doesn't help either. It doesn't help that during pregnancy, maternity clothes look like absolute arse. They look like fucking shit. They're disgusting. And I don't know why all of a sudden every fucking maternity dress has to have like flowers on it. I'm allergic to fucking flowers to begin with. Let's just start there. Why would I want to wear an outfit plastered in flowers? Why all of a sudden when I'm pregnant do I want to wear things covered in fucking flowers? Why is that what you man are making? And also the fact that these fucking models that you man are using to advertise maternity wear are wearing pregnancy pads. Like, they're not even pregnant. Like, they're wearing pregnancy pads. So therefore you're setting a false representation of what women would actually look like during pregnancy, because basically their bodies haven't changed. They've just got a bump, but that's not how bodies work necessarily during pregnancy. So I just think that there's so much societally that can play on people and play on their bodies, and it happens before pregnancy. So you take all of those issues, and then you bring them into the pregnancy arena, and it's an absolute mad thing. So I just want better. I just want better for the fucking world, because I just think, mind your business and let people have the bodies that they have and leave them alone. yeah, that's what I wanted to say on that. I don't know, I just went off on a tangent, but I needed to get that off my chest. But like I said, big up my therapist, because she has been a rock. Imagine, I started going to her to work through my feelings of the miscarriage, and then I've been with her since this whole journey, and she has been invaluable in my life. Like, she's been absolutely priceless, and she showed me an act of kindness. Maybe that's what I should give. I'm going to make her my spontaneous share your magnificence this week. I'm not giving you her name because she doesn't want any more clients and she wants to be left alone. But my therapist is an absolute baddie. She's a bad bitch, because when, you know, when I went to her a few weeks ago, I think it was, and I said, you know what, I'm someone that likes to stay on top of my finances and everything else, and it's not looking like I can keep paying for my therapy sessions for a little while, because I've got so many other things to consider. Like, I'm paying for a podcast, I'm paying for this, I'm paying for that. I just, you know, there's just too many things for me to consider. So I'm going to have to cut out my therapy sessions for now, and then I'll be back when I know that my money's good. And the thing is, it's not even, like I said to her, it's not even that my money's not good. I don't like to be someone that gets caught out at the last minute. So I like to kind of, you know, see things ahead and plan accordingly. So I said all of that to her. And at the end of the session, she said to me, how would you feel if I gave you a few sessions for free? Like, how long do you think that you'll need to be sure that you're fine financially? And I said, probably, like, I don't know, 6 weeks or something. And she said, yeah, well, you know, I don't mind letting you have those sessions for free. And then, you know, when you can pay, you pay, and we'll go from there. When I tell you that my heart broke, and when people talk about heartbreak, yeah, they talk about heartbreak like it's a sad thing, because I know there's a sad heartbreak when, you know, something happens, something that we deem as bad happens. But there's another type of heartbreak that happens when kindness cracks your heart open. I've never had somebody show me that sort of kindness before, especially because it's a professional environment. And it fucked me up. I was so touched. Like, I didn't cry then, but I was so touched, because that level of kindness is just wild to me. And I was just like, oh, but, you know, as soon as I, you know, when I'm sure I might even be fine, I might be able to pay next week. I'm just saying that. She was like, no, I wouldn't have offered if it wasn't something that I felt like I could do. I'm offering it to you because I know that I can. That's what I want to do for you. And wow, like, it's just the fact that she was so invested in me and my progress, especially at this crucial time where she must have deeped it and thought, I don't really want you to stop sessions at a time where things are, you know, progressing towards the due date and things like that. I just want you to be cool. So God bless my therapist. Like, God bless her abundantly. Like, I hope that she gets everything that she fucking desires that's in alignment with her highest good. Like, I hope she fucking gets to meet Oprah and Michelle Obama and them people there. And if I get to meet them first life, I'm going to holler at her and bring her along too, because my God, like, it really blew my mind. It really, really blew my mind. And actually, it just made me, I'm not someone that likes to get things for free, in terms of, like, I like to pay people for what they're giving me. And when I went and, like, did my taxes and everything else, and I saw how much money I had left over from doing my taxes, the next session I had with her, I was like, boom, here's my money to cover the next set amount of weeks. Like, I just want to know that I've paid you for the fact that you would have, you know, let me have that time to get myself together. I mean, it only ended up being like 2 weeks or whatever, but for the fact that you would even have considered letting me have a certain amount of time where I wasn't paying, no, G, have this money ahead, and just know that I'm so grateful and thankful for your generosity. So there's kindness, man. There's kindness. And when Black women show me that sort of kindness, honestly, my heart broke, and it opened me up to feelings that I hadn't even considered within myself, tendernesses that I hadn't considered within myself. And just interesting to me how difficult I found it to accept that. You know, I found it very difficult to be like, somebody's been this kind to me and they don't want anything in return. What the fuck? So I think that's why I rushed to be like, no, I want to give her money straight away again. But the fact that she would even offer that to me, God bless her. So that was my impromptu share your magnificence going out to my therapist, who's a true baby girl. Do not ask me for her details. Do not ask me for her details. Thank you so much. So that's the share your magnificence that Portia wrote in. Teneriel and Trina, 2 slaps on your chest, baby girls. My therapist, 2 slaps on your chest, baby girl. Now I want to talk about a book. So I bought this book called The Conscious Parent. I bought it, but after listening to the author Shafali Tsabari on Super Soul Conversations with Oprah Winfrey. And as you know, I love Super Soul Conversations and it's my new zhuzh, it's my new gig. I really, really enjoy it. And I want to be a conscious parent. And she said some things during her chat with Oprah that really resonated with me. And I thought, I want to get this book. And if you don't know that anything about me, know this one thing, I study for fucking everything. So childbirth, I'm motherfucking studying for it. I know that you can't prepare for every eventuality, but me, I like to study. That's all I know, studying in this life. And that's why even with the whole structure of the podcast and everything that you see here, I study things. I like for things to be the way that they should be and then go above and beyond thereafter. So The Conscious Parent, I would recommend it if you have children. Even if your children are grown, I still recommend it because there is learning to always be done. You should always be a student of something for the whole of your life. And that's all I ever aim to do. I always want to be a student of something for the entirety of my life. Even if the things change, I just want to remain in that position of being a student. And I think I've mentioned that before, like you cannot be a great teacher if you are not also simultaneously at that moment a student. So it's important. Anyway, I've highlighted here page 6 where she says, to connect with your children, first connect with yourself. Until we understand exactly how we have been operating in an unconscious mode, we tend to resist opening ourselves to an approach to parenting that rests on entirely different ideals from those we may have relied on until now. Traditionally, parenthood has been exercised in a manner that's hierarchical. Nigerian parents, that was for you. Nigerian parents, that was the fuck for you. Yeah? Thanks. Anyway, the parent governs from the top down. After all, isn't the child our lesser to be transformed by us as the more knowledgeable party? Because children are smaller and don't know as much as we do, we presume we are entitled to control them. Indeed, we are so used to the kind of family in which the parent exercises control, it perhaps doesn't even occur to us that this arrangement might not be good for either our children or ourselves. On the parent side of the equation, the problem with the traditional approach to parenting is that it rigidifies the ego with its delusions of power. Since our children are so innocent and ready to be influenced by us, they tend to offer little resistance when we impose our ego on them, a situation that holds the potential for our ego to become stronger. If you want to enter into a state of pure connection with your child, you can achieve this by setting aside any sense of superiority, by not hiding an egoic image, by not hiding behind an egoic image. You'll be able to engage your child as a real person like yourself. I use the word image in connection with the ego intentionally. So I want to make clear exactly what I mean by ego and its associated term egoic. In my experience, people tend to think of the ego as their self in the sense of who they are as a person. The word egoic would then refer to an inflated sense of ourselves, such as we associate with vanity. Crucial to an understanding of this book is the fact that I'm using these terms in quite a different way. I want to propose that we regard our ego as our ego isn't our true self at all. I see the ego as more like a picture of ourselves we carry around in our head, a picture we hold of ourselves that may be far from who we are in our essential being. All of us grow up with such an image of ourselves. This self-image begins to form when we are young, based largely on our interactions with others. Ego, as I'm using the term, is an artificial sense of ourselves. It is an idea we have about ourselves based mostly on other people's opinions. It is the person we have come to believe we are and think ourselves as. This self-image is layered over who we truly are in our essence. Once our self-image has been formed in childhood, we tend to hold on to it for dear life. Although this idea of who we are is narrow and limited, our core self, our fundamental being or essence is limitless, existing in complete freedom. It has no expectation of others, no fear and no feelings of guilt. While to live in such a state may sound strangely detached, this state actually empowers us to connect with others in a truly meaningful way because it is an authentic state. Once we have detached ourselves from expectations of how another person should behave and we encounter them as they really are, the acceptance we inevitably demonstrate towards them naturally induces connection. This is because authenticity automatically resonates with authenticity. Basically, she just said, real recognize real. Okay, so that's what we need to be getting to grips with. I just think it's a wonderful book. It's a wonderful book. She says here on page 4, where is it? We are chosen as their parents to help them actualize this. The trouble is that if we don't pay close attention to them, we rob them of their right to live out their destiny. We end up imposing on them our own vision of them, rewriting their spiritual purpose according to our whims. It is no surprise we fail to tune into our children's essence. How can we listen to them when so many of us barely listen to ourselves? How can we feel their spirit and hear the beat of their heart if we can't do this in our own life? When we as parents have lost our inner compass, is it any wonder so many children grow up directionless, disconnected and discouraged? By losing contact with our inner world, we cripple our ability to parent from our essential being in the way that conscious parenting requires. So I just think that that's so important because I feel like so many parents have done that throughout life. I want you to be a lawyer. I want you to be a doctor. I want you to be this. I want you to be that. So then referring back to even, the tarot cards from earlier, parents force who they want you to be on you and don't understand how they could be rewriting the trajectory of your destiny based on their egoic wants and whims. And that is what I do not want to do in this life. And I believe that we are blessed with children because we have asked for the opportunity to grow in a particular way that only a child can help us access. In that sense, that's not to say everyone needs to have a child, no, because we all have different assignments and we all grow in different ways. But it's to understand that the parent-child dynamic actually is more for your benefit, not for the child's benefit. It's for you to come face to face with your wounds and your fears and all of the things that have happened to you that you are trying to evolve from. And parenting the child allows for this, and it allows you to constantly be put to the test with yourself to see how you are truly appearing in this life, and is it in alignment with where you want to actually be in this life. So I just think it's a wonderful book. It's called The Conscious Parent by Shafali Sabari, and I would definitely recommend it. I'm still working through it, and I'll let you know how I get on with it overall, tell you if it slaps or not. But for now, it bangs. My therapist recommended another 2 books to me when I told her that I'd bought this one. There's one that she swears by, and there's another one that she hasn't read yet, but she's heard great things about. So I've bought both. I haven't read them, but when I do, I'll let you know about them as well. Anyway, let's move on then. After all of that wonderful, let's move on to So You Mad. This week, So You Mad, we have to start off with Tim Westwood. Tim Westwood is a pussy clut. I'm sure I've said this on the show before, but I cannot fucking stand Tim Westwood. Tim Westwood is a dinosaur of a DJ. I think, DJ, I think he stands for dinosaur jockey, not disc jockey, dinosaur jockey. Or his one stands for dinosaur joke ting. That's what his one stands for, DJ, dinosaur joke ting, because dinosaur joker, because I don't understand why he is still out here and able to do the things that he does. He's 61 years old, and he's still wearing these baggy jeans and baggy t-shirts saying things like, yeah, shorty, yeah, bitch, yeah, we're out here. First of all, where did you get that accent, Timothy? Where did you get that accent? Because these times you went to the same secondary school as one of my ex's mums. So where did you acquire this accent? Like, you are English, behave yourself. Like, what are you doing at your big age? Has nobody sat Tim Westwood down? Has nobody staged an intervention in this man's life to be like, Agbaya, old man, when will you sit down? When will you rest? When will you marry? Instead, you'll be going to every uni rave, chasing down these girls who are barely legal. Or, not even just the uni raves, but all of these events. Like, I feel like what upsets me the most is that so many black men, seem to cover up for Tim Westwood. Like, they seem to give him a pass. And I really, really don't understand why. And I'm going to touch on in the next So You Mad about this problem with letting white men come along. Yeah, I've got a white partner, fuck off. But generally letting white men come along and just move mad and be given credit. Like, they do the most mediocre shit and they get given so much credit for it. Whereas a black man doing the exact same thing would not get the same amount of credit. It really, really makes me sick. And there are so many talented DJs out here who have been out in the industry for such a long time. Like, when there was that, I think I talked about it last, when there was that Afro Republic thing with Wizkid at the O2, and Tim Westwood was the DJ that they put down. But he was trash because I think it was Eddie Caddy that had to help him with the tunes to play because he didn't know which tunes we wanted to hear. So why did you book him? Why? His age mates are looking into retirement homes and things like that. And he's still out here DJing. Why? He's not even good. I just want it to stop. Anyway, that's by the by. The reason I'm upset about this is because earlier on last week, Megan Thee Stallion was in London. And as you know, Megan Thee Stallion is a bad bitch, beautiful, can rap for days, and has body. She can dance, all of them things, and she's living her best life. Anyway, she gets interviewed by Tim Westwood, and off one of the questions, I hear that it was rather a problematic interview, but a lot of it was edited. So we didn't even hear the bits where he called her a bitch or referred to her as a bitch or referred to black women as bitches or something. I don't know. But the parts that we did see, he said to her, your hair, let me do it like him. Let me do it like that fucking idiot. He goes, Meg, your hair looks amazing. Wig or weave? So if you didn't understand that, let me translate to you. He said, Meg, your hair looks amazing. Is this a wig or a weave? Fuck you, you stupid bitch. Why is it any of your business? Why is it any of your business what Meg's hair is? And also, why have you also eliminated the aspect of the hair actually being hers? It's so violent that a white man would think it was ever appropriate to ask a black woman whether her hair is a wig or a weave. It's such a violent question, and it's loaded. Like, this whole like belief that black women are bald, and the fact that everyone feels like they have access to our hair and the things that we do with our hair and can ask us dumb fucking questions. Have you ever asked Kim Kardashian if her hair is a wig or a weave? Because she also wears the same things. She also wears wigs, she also wears weaves, but when it's a white girl, it's extensions. But Kim Kardashian's fully out here wearing wigs, and she would deny it and be like, oh my God, guys, I can't believe he said I'm wearing a wig. You are, because your hair was pink yesterday and it's now blonde today and it was now blue tomorrow. Like, you're wearing a wig and it's perfectly okay to be wearing a wig, but why are you trying to deny it? So it's just really weird to me that he could get away with such a question. And I love that Meg Thee Stallion now said to him, none your business. And I just thought that she looked uncomfortable for pretty much the whole of that interview with him. He doesn't know his lane, and he doesn't know his lane because we keep allowing this man to stay relevant. Can we just have a mass campaign, a mass petition to get Tim Westwood the fuck out of everything? Because he feels entitled to the culture, and he feels entitled to black women's bodies, which is why he can ask things like that. When I wrote my tweet about him, so many people were commenting going, oh, do you know that he watched her perform that night and he was being really, really weird in the audience with the black girls? because again, he feels like he's entitled to it. Somehow he feels like because he DJs hip hop here and there, that he has access to black women and he can treat them any which way that he likes. That question was violent and it was inappropriate, and he had no reason to be asking her it, because white women are not asked the same questions. And him as a white man should just fucking know his lane, and someone really, really needs to tell him. I'm surprised somebody hasn't slapped him. I'm surprised somebody hasn't slapped him, Westwood, because he really, really needs it. Like, he needs a hot slap to be administered to him, and maybe then he will then act his age and not his shoe size, because he needs to get the fuck out of here. But of all the things that Meg has achieved in the short time that I've seen her on the public, in the mainstream consciousness, for him to now be saying to her, wig or weave, why is that any of your business? Why are people so preoccupied with deconstructing the beautification of black women? Whatever we decide to do to our body, don't ask us to break it down to you. It's none of your business. What you see is what you get. If you can't handle it, get the fuck out of the kitchen. That's it. It's really simple. Next up, another white boy who's getting praise that I don't feel really really deserves, is this Glastonbury Alex. Now, I know that it's sweet that during Glastonbury, Dave, or he calls himself Santan Dave brought this white boy up from the audience and said, does anyone know the lyrics to my song? And the boy was like, he had his hand up, so he was invited onto the stage. Dave invited him onto the stage, and lo and behold, even though he was nervous, he knew the words word for word. Or he knew the lyrics word for word, and, wonderful, so happy for him. But how is it that he's suddenly on Good Morning Britain? How is it that he's now been offered record deals and management and such, when he was literally reciting another person's lyrics, a black man's lyrics? What's interesting is that white men are allowed to exist within these genres of music, right? And not have the same criminalizations and vilifications attached to their personas. But the same isn't afforded to black men. It isn't, because black men, they'll call you to parliament to come and speak about drill music and how it's affecting knife crime. They'll call you to come and speak about grime music and how it's affecting crime rates and things like that. But white men are never asked to come and do the same thing, yet they can enjoy all of the benefits and the sparkliness that comes with being affiliated with that genre of music. And it just really infuriates me, and I just don't think it's fair. Like, you're being offered record deals when black boys who are supremely talented, write their own bars, have been out here trying to grind and hustle and make it out here in these streets, aren't being offered the same things. It's truly fantaradical. It's truly just mind-boggling that this continues to happen in this day and age. But that just goes to show you how whiteness works. Like, you can help yourself to somebody's things, have no originality whatsoever, but your whiteness will still get you the fame and fortune that those people deserve, but they're not given. So yeah, I'm sure Alex is a very sweet boy, wonderful for him, but he does not deserve all of this acclaim that's happening around him. But I feel like the reason that this is happening is very strategized. It's happening because, again, it's about reinforcing the image that white boys are not violent. White boys just want to have a great time. They're lovely and they just want to enjoy music. That's it. But black boys, oh no, they're the criminals. They're the villains. They're the bad ones. All of the time, they're the monsters. And by giving him this fame, I'm sure it's going to be a short-lived one. But by giving him all this attention, it's just to keep that false binary, that false dichotomy going, that white is good, black is bad. And this is how we see it. Like, you're literally saying somebody else's lyrics, somebody who's still out right now in the charts, like somebody else, but you're the one that's been given credit. It's wild. So I just don't know for it. I just don't agree with such nonsense. I just think it really, really needs to stop. And it's really heartbreaking that time and time again, so many news publications and so many news outlets and media outlets and whatever are so ready to be complicit in that narrative of basically ignoring blackness, ignoring blackness, but only celebrating it when it's done through whiteness. It's why Iggy Ashy Crotch is still out here being sort of relevant and the such. it's just dry. It's just dry. It's just dry. As far as I'm concerned, it's a mess and it's dry. Whew. So that's it for white boys moving mad. Let's move to Nigerian men who are mad and very, very mad within themselves, and Nigerian women who are mad within themselves as well. So for those who haven't heard, there's a pastor in Nigeria, Pastor Fat Onyibo. I just think it's funny because I keep reading the name as Fat Onyibo, but I know it's not. But anyway, this pastor, well, basically, let's start from the beginning. There's a photographer, let me get it right. There's a photographer called Busola Dakolo, the wife of a popular Nigerian singer. She said in an interview on local television a couple of weeks ago that Pastor Biodun Fatonyibo, I don't know, the head of a large church in Abuja, had raped her when she was a teenager. The story caught the public attention, and people responded with outrage on Twitter and Instagram using the hashtags #MeToo, ChurchToo, and Say No to Rape in what activists said could be the start of Nigeria's first major movement against sex abuse. Hundreds of people protested on Sunday in major cities, Abuja and Lagos. Dakolo's husband, Timmy Dakolo, posted an image on Instagram saying protests were planned for 7 days. People are already angry that the government was not taking the issue of violence against women and girls seriously. So when Busola's story broke out, people were like, you know what? Enough is enough. This needs to stop. I think it's been building up and it's about time. The Me Too movement really, really helped them to have somewhere to start off with. And Nigeria had a small movement earlier this year in a mostly Muslim north to expose sexual abuse with the hashtag #ArewaMeToo, but it did not spread widely. Public frustration had grown with several incidents since last year, including reports that Nigerian soldiers had raped women fleeing violence in the north and that police had sexually assaulted women in Abuja nightclub raids. Now, I heard about all of these incidents and I just didn't know really what to make of them. But, you know, it's what I say all of the time about, you know, giving away your power to pastors and things like that. I say big up to Busola for coming forward. Big up to her for deciding that this is the time that she was going to speak out. I know that some women were like, oh, well, why is she waiting after 25 years to come and say, or however many years, she come and say that this thing really happened to her. And you know, what is really rape? Because is rape really a bad thing? I remember one man saying or tweeting something like, is rape really a bad thing? I really want someone to explain to me what's so bad about rape. I mean, I just don't know. I just don't know how so many Nigerians lack the ability to do critical thinking. I don't understand it. But for the most part, I'm so proud of all of the Nigerian women who spoke out, who have marched, the Nigerian men who have also spoken out and who are in support of something changing and happening. But a really big fuck you to all of the Nigerian women, most especially, the Nigerian women especially, who went and gathered to do a prayer circle with the pastor to say that this is just evil trying to attack him, you know, but God said, touch not my anointed. When God said, touch not my anointed, he was talking about you lot, you know, he was talking about us lot. He was talking about us lot. He wasn't talking about this stupid fucking pastor. He was talking about us, this Biodun dickhead, Fat Onyibo, whatever. He wasn't talking about him. He was talking about us, like, touch not my anointed, but you're using, see how you're flipping the Bible to justify your own oppression. And that's why it's so mad to me that so many of you will be wrong and strong about this tarot section about, oh, I don't really like tarot because my pastor said, fuck your pastor, innit? Fuck your pastor. Your pastor can go suck out, because the same way that God can talk to your pastor, guess the fuck what? God can talk to me through. God can talk to me through. God can talk through me too. And if I want to use cards to deconstruct whatever messages might be coming to me, then that's what I'm going to do, because the cards do nothing. All they do is help me tap into my higher consciousness and my spirit man, so I know the lessons that are there for me to unfold and to unearth. That's how these cards work. But, oh, my pastor said this and my pastor said that. Your pastor also said that you shouldn't call the police when your husband was slapping you up. So what is the truth? Your pastor also said don't leave your husband after he's cheated on you aggressively for the past 15 years. So what is the truth? Yeah. So that's not to say that all pastors are this and all pastors are that. I know that there are some wonderful, wonderful pastors out there, but you have to use the power of discernment to know when to let people have access to your own power. And by that power, I'm talking about that power of discernment, like in itself. Like, so it goes round in a little cycle, in a little catch-22. Don't just let people tell you something and then you just take it as rote and then you just run with it. No, I mean, even my pastor, who I've talked about on this show since it's, since I started this show, I've locked him off. I'm not talking to him, and it's not anything major. I just don't want to know anymore. I feel like some people serve their purpose in your life and you move on. I'm open to other spiritual teachers and guides coming forward, but once I feel like somebody has moved too mad for me to feel comfortable sharing my things with, then I just lock them off. I lock them off and I keep it going. I keep it moving, rather. What is happening? I keep it moving. But with regards to this particular pastor in Abuja, other women have spoken up about him as well and said that he's done it to me. Other women were coming forward going, they're only saying this because he's a handsome man, because, they just want to say something bad about him. Then I know that there are pastors also over here, I think in London even, who are tweeting, when you are a pastor or when you're a man of God, you've got to be careful, because when a woman accuses you of something, whether right or wrong, people will believe her. And I just thought, so there are so many of you pastors that have done wild things, because what kind of statement is that to make? More time, people don't believe women. In the grand scheme of things, I think only 2 people have actually been charged with rape or imprisoned for it in the history of Nigeria. So it's not like, women are accusing men of rape and then something major is happening from it. No, more time, nothing is happening for it or happening from it. So for the fact that Busola Dakolo decided to speak up in this way, it's major, because, she's got a family, she's got a husband, she's got her family, she's chilling. Someone might say she had no reason to. Maybe she's worked through it, maybe she's healed, but there's power in speaking about these things, because it lets other people know that they're not alone. And the more we speak about these things, the more that we can shine light on these beings of darkness who are perpetuating or presenting themselves to us as being something other than that. And so many people are using the church throughout history, right? Throughout history, I've used the church as a form of oppression and as a form of a dictatorship. Most times the churches that you guys go to are dictatorships, and that's why I don't want to join you there, because these men come on stage, do whatever the fuck they like in their personal lives, demand money. You guys will be giving them money, and they'll be doing private jet and shiny shoes, and you'll just be sitting there still praying for when God will do your own. But God would have done your own if you just kept your money to yourself, maybe. Who knows? I mean, I still believe in paying tithes and donating and helping in that way, but I just think that sometimes you guys take it too far and you basically worship pastors and you don't worship God. And that's what you're going to church for, to worship the pastor and not actually worship God. Because if you were worshiping God, you would see the truth in these accounts from these women that they've been sexually assaulted in this way. And you know what? Nobody owes you a good sexual assault story. Some of you are just like, well, it doesn't sound like, I just feel like she should have done this. No, how it happened is how it happened. And you've been told how it happened. So you either believe and you support, or you shut the fuck up and move on. That is it. Leave people alone. They don't owe you a story that makes sense. It's all nice and neat for you. That's not how this works. So yeah, I'm really, really glad that women and men alike, but mostly women in Nigeria, are rising up and they're speaking out against this, because Nigerian women deserve better. Nigerian women are the most amazing, funniest fucking beings I've ever encountered in this life. And the one thing that frustrates me about us generally is the inability to speak out against a male oppression, because it's been cloaked as this thing that you should aspire to. You're actually aspiring to be oppressed, whether in marriage or whatever. That's what you're aspiring to. And I just want better for us. And that comes with equity in the way that we're treated societally. So that's that for So You Mad. Let me then move on to Straw of the Week, aka Suck Your Mum. So the first Suck Your Mum comes from a baby girl. I don't know if she wants me to say her name, so I'll just call her L.A. L.A. has written in about Anne Widdecombe, who I was actually going to speak about this week, but actually L.A. has done it amazing justice. L.A. says, "Dearest Kelechi, I really hope this letter makes sense, because I'm writing it on my way home after a day of staring at a computer screen, making sense of production schedules. But I had to get it off my chest, otherwise it would burn me like red tiger balm the entire night. I'll keep it short and sweet, and otherwise it would descend into an unintelligible rant. Did I read right on Twitter today? Anne Widdecombe really said Brexit is like slavery. Bitch, get the entire fuck out of here. I just kissed the enamel right off my teeth. She really twisted her mouth in European Parliament to compare Brexit to slavery. It's funny how politicians don't want to recognise slavery until they need to make an analogy to something they find inconvenient or unpleasant, or they want to underline the emotional impact of something. However, when black people discuss slavery and reparations, they moonwalk the topic the fuck out of there. Here's a direct quote from her speech. There is a pattern consistent throughout history of oppressed people turning on the oppressors, slaves against their owners, the peasantry against the feudal barons. And you can get in the same bin with Kanye and his dead-eyed self, since the two of you seem to be confused about the definition of slavery and slaves. It may surprise the rotting old crustacean. I love that. It may surprise the rotting old crustacean to learn that slaves did not choose to be oppressed, and more to the point, I'm sure our ancestors would have loved a referendum on whether to exit slavery. I wonder what we would have voted for. This is from the same woman who said Meghan is trouble because of her background, but because Anne has achieved national treasure status due to being hurled around like a sack of potatoes on a Strictly dance floor, people gave her a pass. She didn't mean it like that. Yes, she did. Anne is a horrible, racist, sexist, homophobic old dinosaur. Anne Widdecombe, I nominate you for Straw of the Week. Find someone's mother and suck them dry. Perhaps that will stop your descent into looking like rotting goat's milk. LA. P.S. Kelechi, your latest pregnant shoot was gorgeous and we all love and support you in your continued greatness. Thank you so much, LA. I couldn't have said it any better. Like, that was absolutely perfect. When I watched that speech that Anne Widdecombe was giving, I was like, is this woman fucking mad? Has she lost her senses? When she was on the Strictly dance floor, at some point, did someone drop her on her head or something? But she was mad before then, to be perfectly honest. But it's just always surprises me the quickness that white people will compare things to slavery, when every other time when you say, can we have reparations? Can we have this? Can we have that? They'll say no. No, it wasn't. It was so long ago. Let it go. But people were still segregated for like how long? Apartheid carried on for how long? Colonization carried on for how long? That's why people are still celebrating independence for. And look at the numbers. The numbers haven't moved to 100 and something. We're talking about 60 something, right? For these independences that people are celebrating. But you don't want to give reparations for anything of that nature, but you'll turn around and go, oh, but Brexit is like slavery. Shut up, you absolute crusty bitch. Shut your mouth. And I totally agree with LA. That Straw of the Week definitely, Anne Widdecombe definitely needs a straw. But my Straw of the Week goes out to everybody who's trying to cover up the fact that Shukri Abdi, this girl from Somali Muslim girl, anyone who's trying to cover up the fact that she was murdered. BBC have really, really aggravated me because their headline is as follows. Shukri Abdi, 12, drowns in River Irwell in Bury. A 12-year-old girl has drowned in the River Irwell in Greater Manchester. Shukri Abdi was last seen in the river, parts of which are 20 foot, 6 meters deep, off Dunster Road, Bury, at 19:55 on Thursday, which would have been last week Thursday. Greater Manchester Police said it was treating what happened as a tragic accident and did not believe there were any suspicious circumstances. So I'd also like to say to Greater Manchester Police, fuck you all as well, because that is absolutely disgusting. This 12-year-old Somali hijabi would not have gotten into water knowing that she cannot swim. Why is it that she was in the water, but the 4 girls, I think it was 4 girls who were with her, they were completely dry and they didn't go anywhere near the water? What madness would have entered her to enter into water knowing in herself that she can't swim? Like, her parents have said it, like, this girl cannot swim, right? And she's in her, she's in her hijab and everything else, she's all covered up. Why would she have gotten into the water? Why? She wouldn't have. So the likelihood is that the girls that she was with dragged her into the water and drowned her. They murdered her. These other girls, these 12-year-olds, 14-year-olds, whatever the fuck, these girls murdered her. They murdered her. Therefore, it's racist and it's Islamophobic. It was a hate crime. They murdered the young girl. They murdered this girl. If it was Madeleine McCann, you guys would have energy. You always have energy. Every year, let's try and find Maddie. Maddie's the fuck gone. Yeah, Maddie's been gone, right? But this, you'll just treat it as a tragic accident. Why? Because again, racism and Islamophobia is so rampant across the UK, across the world, but most especially up north. And because the likely murderers are white girls, because those were the ones she was with, you're not going to call it what it is because you don't want them to get in trouble. You don't want to ruin their life because you never want to ruin these white children's lives. It's everybody else's life that can be ruined. And this story makes me really, really sad. There's a GoFundMe to help with her the funeral costs. To help her parents with funeral costs, and I donated. I mean, I'm not balling like that right now, but God will make me ball in Jesus' name. But I still donated something because, and they've passed their target. Don't get me wrong, but I still want to donate something because it hurt so much. Like her mum, I watched an interview with her mum, and I think they arrived to England or to Bury. I think it might just be Bury, but they arrived 2.5 years ago. So the school is called, I think, what's it? Bury Greater Oaks or something. The new school teacher is trying to even change the new school head teacher is actually trying to change the name of the school now and change the uniform to move them as far away from this scandal as possible. Because they know the truth. They know the truth. Like, you're basically harboring murderers. It says here, Shukri's family who live in Bury, said that she could not swim and playing in the river was out of character. There you go. Her uncle, Mustafa Omar, said she was a sweet, innocent child. Her mum is absolutely destroyed. Everything about this is out of character for her. She couldn't swim, so she wouldn't even go near the edge. So come on, like, how can BBC as a website, the news website, write she drowned and therefore there's warnings that children should be careful about going near the river, when the actual fact of the matter is that it's clear as day that this girl did not get in the water by herself. It's clear as day that this little bitches killed her. They murdered her, especially since, I think, for what they said, and when they examined her body, she had bite marks. So obviously there was a struggle. And you, man, dragged her into the river, or you pushed her into the river. You did something, because again, how are they completely dry? So even if, homegirl fell in the water, Shukri fell in the water, none of them felt inclined to try and save her. There were how many of them? They could have held on to each other. One person hold on to a tree or a rock or something and reach out and try and grab her. None of them attempted. They watched her die. Even that alone is cause for concern. So anyway, let me just get all of the bits up. It says here, Shukri from Somalia was the eldest of 5 children and was new to the country. I thought as much, yeah. She attended Broad Oak Sports College. Head teacher Paul Greenhalgh said Shukri was a lovely young girl, always smiling, always wanting to please people and work hard. She had a beautiful personality and a loving, supportive family. Our thoughts and deepest sympathies are now with the family at this time, and we will be supporting them and all of our children through this difficult period. Police have warned of the dangers of playing or swimming in the rivers, lakes and reservoirs. This is what you are not going to fucking do. You're not going to make this a case of TLC. Don't go chasing waterfalls. Please stick to the rivers and the lakes that you're used to. Don't ever fucking try it, yeah? Because it's none of that. The girl was killed. So giving out these false warnings about don't go play near the rivers. No, you could just tell these little white children to not go and murder a Somali girl. How about that? I'm trying to find, they said here that whose bodies? No, I need to go to the point where the school are trying to cover all of this fuck shit up. That's the one that gets me the most, because I know that nothing will be done about this, and something really, really should be. It says here she was with two so-called friends, but it was only her who jumped in mad. Her body was found 4 hours later. The police are not investigating this case and have said it's just a tragic accident. There is someone from our community whose life has been taken. This is from at Abdi TV. I'm reading from their tweets. And there's also a donation link there. So if you click on, I'll add the link to this caption. I'll add the link in the caption to this episode. And somebody else wrote, Broad Oak High School has told the students today not to share anything on social media or speak to the press. Why? Because they're trying to hide the fact that this what has happened. The school has the worst reputation in Bury and has now got a new head teacher who is changing the name of the school and uniform in order to erase all the hate towards it. And I watched a video of the mum talking and it's just horrible. It really made me want to cry. I just thought, what the fuck is this? You arrive from Somalia, you just want a good life for your child, only for two fucking evil little bitches to go and kill your child. What is this? What is this? Oh. And then I read somewhere else that a man saw what happened and he was fishing at the time. It says here, a fisherman witnessed the incident. He saw Shukri being dragged by her neck and her hijab by four pupils from Broad Oak School. He gave a statement, but the police dismissed him as being drunk. His wife said she would never allow him to fish if he was drunk. Apparently, the head teacher of Broad Oak School is looking to change the name of the school to disassociate themselves from the brutal case of injustice. Shukri had bite marks on her body too, hand and neck. A full post-mortem needs to be done before burial. We need to push for this. The murder of this young Muslim girl is being covered up by the school and police as a tragic accident and not suspicious. I'm shaking with anger. Shukri's mother has given us the go-ahead to organise a march or something. So, I mean, Shukri, I just pray for your life and I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry that it was cut short. I pray for all of the Muslim women and girls out there, the visibly Muslim women and girls out there, especially the black ones, because I know how much danger you are in every day by just professing your faith through the things that you wear. And I pray that God continues to watch over you and his angels continue to protect you all as you go about your day-to-day life. And I pray that every mercy, everything that Shukri needs to live in paradise and the other side, in the spiritual realm, is granted to her, because this is absolutely wild. And I pray that justice is done for her. But the Greater Manchester Police, the school, Broad Oak High School or whatever the fuck, my straw of the week goes to you all. You can go and suck your mothers till you drown. That is what I want for you, because it's absolutely horrible that something like this can happen and it can just try and get neatly brushed under the carpet because, oh, heaven forbid, we chastise and we appropriately deal with the violence of these white children and the Islamophobic ideologies that they have that would make them feel that it's okay to do something like this to a black Muslim child. Like, it's disgusting. It's absolutely disgusting. But anyway, that is it for me for this week. I just had so much to get in here and get on the record because, woo, Chile. But for everybody, I don't even know. I just pray for all of our safety because the world is mad out here. And as we go day to day, it's really only God that keeps us, But that's it for this week. This week's episode of SYM. I have been Kelechi Okafor. This has been SYM, officially known as Say Your Mind, unofficially known as what? That's right, Suck Your Mum. I don't know if I'll be here next week, but I'll see what I can do. And yeah, follow me on @Trina Nicole, @Say Your Mind Pod. Remember to hashtag @Say Your Mind Pod and get involved with anything that I've discussed today. As I said, I'll put the link to being able to donate to Shukri's funeral and things like that. I'll put the link, if it's still active, I'll put it in my captions as well. But it's been real, man. All of you, look after yourselves until I catch you on the other side. Peace.
It's the Benz Brunani womanist. Baby boys, baby girls, you need to hear this. If you sit down, receive this realness. Make sure your cup's ready for the tea, we are go sip it, yo. Hard time scrolling for your long shorts. You might learn something you never know. Collect you fine, and she's one of a kind. Don't say you're mine, say you're mine.